too sick to raise my head. The VFW was down the street, and around midnight her mother came home and roasted me off the couch. Her boyfriend was standing by the kitchen door, avoiding the whole thing. I guess that's how off-duty cops handled domestic situations. She towered over me and scoffed. "What were you drinking?" "Brandy," I replied. "What kind of brandy?" 5-star. "That's why you're sick," she said. "You bought my daughter cheap liquor. Never buy my daughter cheap liquor." I never seen it since. It sounded good to me at the time. Tripping by the bridge. We're just going to stay in order here. I stood on the gravel at the party spot by the bridge. Cars pulled into a circle like covered wagons. We leaned against fenders, smoking. Shaggy teenaged boys in leather coats. Older ones, too, dropped out or graduated. A joint laced with something and passed on, a bitter taste in the back of my throat. MDA, or a pig tranquilizer. I took another hit and passed the joint back to Mitch Rydell, who passed it to his girlfriend. I was getting pretty high and felt like going, and there was Rory's station wagon. The back door opened, so I climbed in. Creaking over the potholes and onto the road, music so loud I could hardly sit up. Feeling a fast corner, I slid onto the floor like a square of Jell-O off a cafeteria tray. Wedged between seats, ass on the differential hump, I stared up through the window, watching the clouds, telephone poles, treetops, all flashing past. In time, Rory must have slowed down, pulled over and turned off the engine. It was quiet now, just treetops and crickets chirping. Craig Cahill opened my door, peered inside, and the whole car vanished into his hand. And there I was, lying on the gravel by the bridge, shocked and surprised, looking up at a ring of perplexed faces bent down, looking at me. Okay, I could end with this one here. Coat pile. It was a party at Butch and Benny's. They lived in a duplex past the Elk Lake Pavilion. There were mostly bikers at their parties and a few of their old ladies. There weren't many single girls, but optimism is a beer's best buddy. It was winter, nothing doing outside, just the straight line from the front door through the living room, into the kitchen, down the stairs to the basement where a cover band played. Then back up the stairs, repeated like an infinity of mirrors until the consumption of alcohol and drugs finally brought you down like a tranquilized hyena on Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. I was standing beside the pile of coats heaped in the corner to the left of the door when the futility hit me, along with the cumulative effect of all that keg beer. The coat pile called me down, and I passed out. I awoke, and I realized I wasn't alone. Someone lay next to me in that pile of coats, our backs touching. The thrum of bass and drum vibrated the floor beneath us. Fresh from unconsciousness, I could feel her slow breathing, and with eyes closed, I turned to face her. She found me, and we embraced. I couldn't believe my luck. Her lips searched for mine, and it was then, as our tongues probed, I noticed what felt like whiskers around her mouth. Our eyes opened together, and I realized she was a bearded drunk in a flannel shirt, and without another thought, like something choreographed, we rolled apart and, lying back to back once more, resumed our separate dreams. Do you want one more? Yeah, you do? Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Okay, this is this is all in order here. This is where I was at this point in my life. I think I've changed a lot since then. I've really grown up. Finding the faithful pony within. It usually worked. Getting behind the wheel of a car, turning the key in the ignition, checking the mirrors and putting it in gear. But tonight, Sweezy and I were tripping. Hands on the wheel, I could see the interior of my '63 Chevy perfectly. Every detail of the red steel dashboard and green glowing radium dials. But looking through the windows, all I could see was black, like someone had covered the entire car with a tarp. We were parked on the side of the road in front of Butch and Benny's, pointed south. That much I knew. Sweezy said all he could see were giant pink spider webs, so he was of no help. I eased the car into first and made a decision. Start driving and see what happens. My destination was home. And like a psychedelic version of stories Grandma told about drunks passed out on horseback, homeward bound from the saloon, I begged the horsepower under the hood to please get me there. I felt gravel turn to blacktop, sensed miles moving beneath us, saw myself making turns and changing gears. It was all working, and I wasn't sure why. I knew the sound of hitting something could signal a fault in my strategy, and tuned all remaining senses cat whisker sharp, braced for the slightest impact. Sweezy sat shotgun, gaze forward, pursued an all-consuming interior monologue with radioscopic awareness. His lack of concern boosted my confidence. I convinced myself he could see through the spider webs, and like a seeing-eye dog would sing out if I went astray. After one significant right-hand turn, I found myself idling, transmission in neutral. I looked over at Sweezy and, feeling it was the right thing to do, turned off the ignition. In that instant, the windows cleared, and through them I saw the peeling white paint of my parents' garage door. Thank you. Further to be announced.
Vetch. That's so great. We're so excited about your book. Yeah. All right, so we have a feature reader who I really am excited to hear. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome LM Brimmer to the stage.
Hey, y'all. Look, I gotta go after those fun party poems? Come on. Ugh. Look, I left those poems at home. Thanks. Hey, y'all, I'm LM. It's nice to see you all. I haven't been down to the 331 in a long time, and it feels so good. I was saying that, like, oh man, have they changed the thing inside? Is a lot changed inside? And they're like, no. And I was like, oh, I'm less drunk than I was last time that I was here. So we'll see how that goes tonight. Maybe it'll start to look the same the longer I'm here. You know what I mean? I know, I appreciated you saying you were half drunk, because I'm like, I'm joining you. I'm here with you. So I'm excited to read some poems tonight. One thing I wanted to note that I wrote down, Irene, you said engendered maggots, and I thought you said gender maggots, and I never felt so seen. And I was like, thank you. So that's a note I wanted to make. In addition to really admiring Scott's shirt, it's a solid choice, my man. Okay, so today I'm reading some poems from Work in Progress. I haven't read a lot of these out loud yet, so thank you for being my test cookies. And the work in progress is called Imagine Child. I'm thinking a lot about, I'm an adoptee looking for my mom, but also, hey, what the fuck is going on in this country? So there's a little bit of both of those things kind of happening here. I'll start with the poem, The Demaloon. Oh, still the mother inside my instead eye that pans to hold the sky, as a body restored, held when my moon in its hold sip crease, in its pleat of night's panting depiction, its picture of pleading, its phase of spare rooms, my heart is ajar, and my poems scurry out into indigo, into nights nomadic, as my thoughts spilling under the door, running secrets like ghosts, my beloved fugitive fleetings, budding, flowering, ripe. The headline reads, Imminent Recession. And so today I run, I leave the welcome mat askew, I scatter mismatched pairs of shoes, shatter glass on the landings. Upstairs, I squall Upstairs, I half drunk, scrawl a quip about progress, embroidered frames, say, don't break it, just take it, and we never had any guns here. Foiled portraits of Harriet, Ida, Lorraine. I want whoever finds this place to know we were free, only defeated by our generational penance for fast fashion. The sediment of glacial pluck is how abandonment works. It's instructive. Quotes rapture in relief. Immolation is key. Clench your breath. Realize it won't help your planning or anything you do or don't. Always make sure there's a second watching and you carry a knife, corn flour, and maple sugar. Offer a sweet ceremony for the bitter. All knees and bowing, all eyes to the ground for a time of fires and blood, and let go of the world we knew. Is this the crown? What comes next? Maybe melting means leaving. An announcement of empty moraines shimmer that slow meaning when the land doesn't need us to tell her story. Meaning now, just look. She speaks slow and knows her wind is cleaving, her hot breath on dry lips. Her wind carries me a few more months, We could rear each other, offspring. Our birthdays are wet but still warming, and never a summer without my sibling, my one twin. What did she say when she found I wasn't a rock in her pocket? My mother, imagine her circling the pond. Did she touch to forget or to count? Did she palm the flint and the tourmaline? Touch the same mineral? Did she try to climb out? Did she try? So I don't have anything new to say. This next poem is called Imagine Child. Half drunk poetry with LM Brimmer. We're doing it. Whew. Imagine Child. I see the cosmos, a new rhizomatic planet, a wheezing giant, our imagined chariot out west, past the abyss of the unborn, past Mercury, child, global in thought but the size of a housefly, child indebted, child indented, a clipped thought mid-action, found under the parent's reason or lack of pull-out method, indebted, child invested, imagined kid excused from the table and exposed to space, distant made child at a dilated rate, alongside astringents and drugstore multivitamins only a mothered arrange. But imagine the day and the place the child became AKA'd, like Robitussin, expired, green gas giant, dextromethorphan out of place, left with musted cardboard matchbooks, child known only in the face. This is a longer poem. It's called Rootsless Seed. Dilated, the world, a dilatory laboratory, and a vapor delayed, spawn of the rogue brown seed, air ruling the underworld, Pluto planted out, planted love, child, cried itself a flat note, the oracle tone-deaf image, if anarchy's body heard the moan on the father's tongue, time, the always puncta of the file's corruption, a yes, a rare earth, a rarer, a regret, punctuated, one small bead pollinated in grammar's time, where to look for a long line, the subjugation of an era balanced on the tip of Fog's finger, the seed flung by Jove, seed flung across heavens, rootsless, the lottery passenger, finally flying first class, rootsless me, a bastard meal of dry meat, tough insides. This grief jerky is a compound seed. Eyeball bearing where bliss threatens weak molars, milk teeth, fed, lead poison, Similac. Did it eat teeth too? Round after round of simulacra revolutions, a present never landing, rootsless, dreaming, meaning is half my play, half my decoy conception. Once upon a time, it will matter what we notice, what we are passing on, and then the moon moved by our situated markets, our blend, our passing, start to mobilize follicles backstreaming from our archipod Achilles, our tender house, small, smoky kitchen living, survived by TikTok lessons on house loans, apartment bites, a game simulating abundant homes, lease after lease. Not a big house, mine, after schooling us grown, leaving that great red spot called the sun in mine eye when we finally close our eyes to aggravation like lingering intergenerational bitterness is gut nutrition. Look, I'm always changes my hair. Once upon the time the baby was everywhere. Once upon the time an empire soured in grief and the fruit of lusts we never forgot the salt, the silt, Our terrible crossings north, our rivers, sod, land, bleeding trunks, and now so much fires from California to Canada, another war of smoke on turtles, leather, back, rootsless, gone afloat, goodbye on another dry borderland, Messick, Apocrypha, where we used to run. So now we danced, glad we practiced at it, forest, gone, garden, goning. So when I'm wistful for an I imagined, I figure each bit of grass is land back, is sloped back, giving over to pine, silver maple, to oak, savanna, aster, clover, to any imagined tree or sweet grasses. I remember the hatched cicadas of 2004, broods they're called. Each cohort numbered a Roman family, named a numeral, cohort 3, cohort 18, etc., a phylum, et al., family like a Super Bowl. Numbers you don't need me to report. The fire next time, harvest flies, will be unsynchronized. Brood 8 will be here in 2058. While we wait in before, in leaves, the crush of their shells rendered beneath evergreens, ending, waiting before our next president, our next insurrection. It's simply hysterical to me that a body can be reproduced. Is this decay of ours a sharp disobedience to what's natural? What's natural? I have 2 more poems. Thanks for letting me be weird. This is a tarot poem. The tarot we're familiar with. I feel like this is a group that knows the tarot. The Tower card. Yeah, the Tower. We have directions we could go. Oh, which one will we choose? I'm being dry and half-hearted because it's hard to actually have a heart right now, right? Maybe we're all feeling that. If I gave over to emotions, I'd probably cry. That's not as entertaining. The Tower. Do not enter the hall with only fear in your hands. No cake, all candles, the walls aglow with the floating sheen of gasoline, the dark choke of smoke. Intuition says, if they jump, you'll draw yourself a bath to land in. You blink, and the picture tears itself while stuck in a stone frame, snug, asleep. Look closer still, and what, at first, is a clear moth wing, dusts itself with the glint of time. And the elements dot a magnadoodle, a caption saying, move on from the unmet mother. Grieve the wisp of the hummingbird, its absent wing was torched at the exit. Querent, you shunned the burnt cleft of book spine and shed the record. You touched the roof of her mouth with blame's blank tongue, but now, surrounded, what can the body choose? The archive's orange peel of soot block sty? Stalemate of flame? As you patter away, surrender, mutate into a moth thing, both excrement and exponent. Become body unmade by choice, or you return to the water. Unbutton your shirt. Thank you. My last poem, Mother, my hand on the killing jar. I caught you, Mother, flying white, the space above the couch, bright static of a beige storm with a clap, something snapped, tube, husk, in flight, rice-like, silken, fragile, thorax, the species, Lepidoptera, family unknown, unseen pupa in the midst of noxious mothballs, unspun nests, a chemical dust smell. I didn't want to preserve you or your compound eyes of anger, your spirits, but hard-handed became the only way I could keep you here, a scene collected. Thank you.
LM Brimmer, thank you so much. Yeah. All right, up next we have Jeffrey Skemp. He's gonna do a little musical poetry interlude. Yay, all right. Jeff Skemp.
Can I borrow your tuner stuff? Do you have a tuner I can borrow?
It's kind of fucked up.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. This will be
you're
fine.
welcome to try it. But
Yeah, it
if
was
the
in tune
battery's
last
going
night.
off,
It'll be close enough. Throw one in and then I forgot. Sorry.
I'm missing my nice one. Soon used to think.
Someone walked off with it. Maybe.
Real quick.
Probably a little delay too. Is what I think. Just a little bit. Check, check. Knowing what we can get away with better than most of you and I will go. The tips of our tongues wetting our lips with mischief as we cruise those winding back roads that seem owned by someone else, just enough to enjoy, like retiring thieves. Knowing what we can get away with better than most of you and I will go. We taste the sweet dust as our cheekbones balance our eyes like slivers of sun-hungry moons, or past a white canvas sky it falls behind, our pockets full of air. Thanks. Once again, we have forgotten to bring supper home. Once again, the ravenous dog, she eyes the neighbor. Restless children pour out into the streets. Calling out to the ones who wait for them, the ones who know all too well. Our many weaknesses, our bodies, perforated glass. Veins patched with duct tape. We fish ghosts out of our heads, tired of sidewalks of skin, our bones toys of time. Somehow we still diagnose the movement of the sun is perfect. The movement of the sun is perfect. Unfurl a flood of song as we sing. Good luck to the children as they scatter with their backs to the wind. Once again, once again. Thanks, everybody.
Jeff Scamp. Give it up for Jeff Scamp. All right, next up is Terrence Foltz. Terry.
How's it going, all you hooligans? I'm half drunk. Well, actually, I think I might be a little more than half drunk. I don't think I'm totally drunk. I'm thinking maybe like 2/3 drunk, and I'm not a math guy. So I'm going to read a few poems here. Hey, congrats on your book, Scott. That's really cool. A pain like a needle stabs my left ankle. I look out the window and the sun is bright. I open the crisper and eat 11 red grapes. Check my Facebook notifications and go back to bed. Action paper, foist upon feast and beast, magnet, scarlet, buried harlot, pinch of salt, magnet pillow, sky of mud, river lines and prayer and fast woven clench, a day at the races, more dead yesterday. They pile up tall, a shovel and a garden hose. What more do you need? Be home before the lights come on. Forget about the petition, nobody reads them. A concert for the lost and found. There'll be a dozen food trucks or more. Macbeth in pink chiffon looking side-eye wonderful and teeming sad. Full of constant, irascible woe. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Everybody outside for the night. You need a key? Nobody's coming over this time of night. No more emails. I've got enough. The year is half over, and I couldn't tell you when it started. So I got a little plug, a little gig coming up. Today's the 7th. On the 17th, that'd be a week from this Saturday, I'm going to be reading at Cheap Theater. It's Black Forest Inn. They do it every couple of months. Some of my fellow readers will be Richard Rousseau, longtime storyteller in the Twin Cities, Paula Reed Nancaro, Erica Christ. She's also a bartender at Black Forest, and myself, and I think maybe a couple other people who I'm forgetting. So I think it's like 7 o'clock, something like that. So I'll read 2 more little short pieces. This one's from a ways back. It looks like 2017. Freud was right. What? Freud was right. What? Time for sleep. I've got a cold. The music was good, mellow, something like Psychedelic Furs, but not quite. The beers made my stomach queasy. The rain has stopped, but it's still a bit cold for early May. And one last piece here. Hopefully my poetry reading doesn't interrupt your conversation too much. That'd be horrible. Ulceration Friday, an idea for a table. Do you like cable? Zombies die in sub-zero blue. Love is put in a corner. Freedom in context. My brain won't scream itself to sleep. Thank you.
Terrence Foltz, everybody. Give it up for Terry Foltz. Next up, we have Dave Alderson, who's going to pay homage to our fearless leader, Kevin Brixton, and then play some music for you.
Thank you. Oh, perfect. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it. Let's give it up for the 331 Club. And the staff here. We got Sam, we got Sarah, we got Jason on sound over here. Let's have a round of applause for the folks that make your evening experience the Love Fest and seamless enjoyment of poetry and music that it is. And I don't know anybody else that's supporting poetry and music on a regular basis the way that 331 does, with a monthly gig, a Bosso Poetry Company every Wednesday, first Wednesday of the month. Almost 3 years. We're going to celebrate our 3rd year anniversary in July, and it's mind-boggling to think. So I want to pay a little homage, as Stephanie referenced, to our founder and fearless leader, Mr. Kevin Brixius. So I'm going to read a little bit from Kevin's chapbook, one of his chapbooks. Here we go. It's called The Tragedy of the Crackers. Of all the things to step on, why the crackers? Gentle soda crunchies, asleep in their wax paper outfit. A stack of singles lying, but why lying there? At the edge of the mess on the floor, strewn there, maps, books, magazines, half a jigsaw puzzle, mallets, tools, instruments, and projects. And I tipsy-toe a boot camp course through the mad tangle, only to find on the fringe and nail the innocuous wafers with a hideous crunch. What harm of a foot on a wall map? What harm has a step for a handsaw or a bat? Yet I dodge balletically. Sparing the dictionary, I shatter the food. I get it. All right. One more. It's called the dumbbell. I see you there, dumbbell. A great weight on the platform, inside the frayed circus tent. Each day the strong man lifts you up, and then the strong man puts you down. Don't you see, dumbbell, that the strong man is only using you? Or are you so enamored of his leopard skin suit, cinched at the waist, and the cartoonish wave of his pompadour hairdo? Like king of the jungle, lord of the circus. Oh, dumbbell, don't be such an idiot. All right, again, Kevin Brixius, ladies and gentlemen. We would not be here if Kevin had not brought us along for the ride. That's it. All right. Well, I'm channeling my Nashville songwriter on this next one. Every once in a while, you have to do a country song and you know, embrace all the elements of a country song. And so here, see what you think. This is my newest effort. But I suppose I should make sure I'm tuning up first. And we tried to stream tonight to YouTube. And somehow had a technical difficulty, but we're going to continue to work on it. And but we are recording this evening's performance, and we hope to post that. And it's going to be at ampersand Bosso Poetry, if you want to know, so you can see yourself. And I'll take you half drunk, and I'm going to raise you 3 hours of sleep. Since last night, I was working on a grant for opioid harm reduction and treatment and recovery, and with Hennepin County, and working on the budget kept me going until 3:30 this morning. And I fell asleep for a little minute, and then I got up around 6:30, and I said, no, I'm not moving. I'm not going anywhere. But I got the grant done 2 hours ahead of schedule at 11 a.m. So you know, give me a second here. The cool air is tweaking. Here we go. You made it clear that you no longer love me. The love in you is what I know the best. Even though I tell myself it's finished, my foolish heart will never let me rest. I sent my heart to prison when I fell in love with you. No matter how hard I try, I never will be free. I thought that when you left me, I would find somebody new. But I just sing this sad old song, and it's no good for me. I tried so hard to move beyond my sorrow. I started drinking wine instead of beer. My head hurts just the same, and in the morning seems like crying time is always here. I sent my heart to prison when I fell in love with you. No matter how hard I try, I never will be free. I thought that when you left me, I would find somebody new. But I just sing this sad old song, and it's no good for me. My mother told me, look for a companion, someone you can count on, tried and true. Now I got a dog that I could care for. All he does is howl, make me blue. I sent my heart to prison when I fell in love with you. No matter how hard I try, I never will be free. I thought that when you left me, I would find somebody new. But But I just sing this sad old song, and it's no good for me. I started driving truck to leave behind me all the heartache, the sorrow, and the pain. All my lonely travels just remind me all I've done is drive myself insane. I sent my heart to prison when I fell in love with you. No matter how hard I try, I never will be free. I thought that when you left me, I would find somebody new. But I just sing this sad old song, and it's no good for me. Now I sing this sad old song, it somehow sets me free. Oh, thank you. And, what? You want something else? If I could lose some of the, lose some of the wash. This is a pretty clean song. It's more straight up acoustic, written by a dear buddy of mine, wonderful songwriter. He's just like Kevin. He's no longer with us. But it's baseball time, and I'll confess I do have a certain fondness for baseball. But this is more about like a childhood hero situation. There was a fellow named Pumpsy Green who came out of Nebraska, and he was a hot prospect. He landed with the Boston Red Sox, but he had problems with the bottle and didn't quite make it in the big leagues. But it's not about that. It's about how a kid, or how it's heroes in our lives, you know? And of course, all of our heroes are imperfect characters. And so, you know, it's called Pumpsy Green. Outside Boston's fable ballpark, a youngster waits for an autograph from the batting champ from Nebraska who makes $7 million a year. And the scene brings back memories of the very same stadium in another time, with a 9-year-old redhead from Framingham and a bat to get signed. Not destined for the Hall of Fame, but a kid's hero just the same, playing God's own game in the sun. And Pumpsy can still see the ball, can still hit the wall, the green monster that lives in your dreams. And time will still remember those days, still recall the caps and the beers and the trains and the teams. But the greatest baseball player I'd ever seen, it's Pumpsy Green. Perspiration still lingers in the hall leading down to the clubhouse door. The paint still wears the victory share and the promise of champagne. November afternoons turn gray and Fenway is cold and damp. But there I goes to throw BP and hit fungos in the rain. Legends are made by the very fact that he played, but he doesn't play the game anymore. And can still hit the wall, the green monster that lives in your dreams. And time will still remember those days, still recall the caps and the beers and the trains and the teams. The greatest baseball player I'd ever seen. The greatest baseball player I'd ever seen. The greatest baseball player, his pumps stick green. Pumps stick green. Pumps stick green. Pumps stick green. All right, thank you very much. And thanks again to 331 Club for hosting us. All right.
Give it up for Dave Alderson again, everybody. All right, so next up, we have another core member of Bosso, Lynn Gray. Always a treat to hear Lynn Gray. Come on up, Lynn.
Confessions of a low-tech playboy. I've been sleeping on top of someone's bloodstains, like a church revival bashes out its past, like a puta goes to mass. I've been chalking up the linear years, blackboard full of ink. I've been stepping out on my dreams, no need to feel guilty, every day, every year, ever after. I've been steady on the progress, catching up reading history, like a crazy horse, like a body in flames, songs sung by sons and daughters, scattered notes in love and pain. I've been keeping track of the primary years, like bread in a mutt's mouth. And I've been counting up digital. 2 hands make 10. I've been twisted and wrecked and maimed, rattled my way out, handled like a champ, sexed by a bush, and whipped by the branch. I've been living with the Western heritage. Barbed wire, cattle, comical hats full of clout, good comfort wearing Sears. And I've got postal friends in towns and cities. They get to my attention like a spider spins a web. Postcards are always open. I've been branded now a veteran. Sometimes I see the sunset. Sometimes I'm up before the sunrise. And sometimes I'm happy with a broom. And sometimes I don't eat breakfast. And sometimes I miss the moon. Draw of the art is here and there. And I've been collected, never feeling lonesome. I'm occupied over someone's master bedroom. I'm occupied. Headed up the stairway. I am occupied. From burning toast in kitchens to a fainting couch for two, and I'm occupied. Inside of public buildings, like sinks and toilets flushed together, I'm a choir member of the zoo. I'm occupied.
Thanks, Lynn Gray. Up next, we have Patty Peterson.
My mother could be quite glamorous. Usually she wore sweatshirts and threadbare tennis shoes. But on rare occasions, she'd slip on her slender, mid-length brown dress, a string of pearls, short hair brushed back, loose, and red lipstick. One evening, she sat on the arm of the couch, one foot tucked behind the other. Dad stood next to her in a suit and tie, half smile. Pea green checkered curtain behind them. My sister peered through the viewfinder of the Instamatic, squinting one eye. After the square light bulb flashed and rotated, Mom stood up, smoothed her dress. "You kids be good, we won't be late." Out the door they went. My younger brothers toddling behind them, wailing with outstretched arms as if they would never see Mom and Dad again. On this occasion, Uncle Claire was visiting from California. They were headed to the Peacock Room at the airport, where they were meeting Dad's brothers, their wives, and friends. They sat at large round tables in the corner, table filling up with bottles and stemware. I imagine Dad loosening his tie, pushing his chair back, shoulders slanted, resting an elbow on the back of Mom's chair. Mom waved a Virginia Slims pressed between the tips of two fingers, laughing. Everyone laughing and talking. Like Frank Sinatra's gang in a Las Vegas nightclub I'd seen in the movies. On those nights, it was like she wasn't even our mom. She was someone else. Daiquiris, she told me later. Rum daiquiris. Thank you.
One more person. I don't see our person. Is Grace here still? Can somebody check to see if Grace is out back? I think Grace might still be here. Are you gonna go check, Dave? Yeah, thank you. All right, hold up. I think we're gonna get Grace up here. In the meantime, I just want to thank everybody here at 331 Club. Thank you, Jason, for doing such an awesome job on the board always. Thank you, all the Bosso poets. Thank you to our feature reader. So great to hear you. Is there anywhere that we can get your, do you have anything published out there, or anywhere that you're reading again? Okay. Yeah. All right, great. Yeah, really enjoyed your work. All right, give it up for Grace. Grace, do you want me to? You're okay coming up?
Oh, I got this.
All right, cool.
We'll just make sure you got it coming down too.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, hello, Bosso. It's always good to see all of y'all. Oh. Tonight I'm doing just a little different. I'll be reading my favorite poem. It's not a poem I wrote. It's a different one. Very famous. Oh, we'll just grab this thing. It's way more fun this way. Oh, I hate microphones, though. Oh, I prefer being loud. Oh, but microphones. I know, I hate them. But life's been a lot. I got ran over by a car 3 weeks ago. A lot of trans bullshit. Oh, life is hard. Who cares? I'm tired of looking at my own words, and I'd like to share my favorite poem ever. It's what got me into poetry. The Cremation of Sam McGee. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men that moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, but the queerest they did ever see was that night on the marge of Lake LaBarge. I cremated Sam McGee. Now, Sam McGee was from Tennessee, where the cotton blooms and blows. Why he'd left his home in the south to roam round the pole, God only knows. He was always cold, but that land of gold seemed to hold him like a spell. Though he'd often say in his homely way that he'd sooner live in hell. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way along the Dawson Trail. Speak of your cold through your parka's fold. It stabbed like a driven nail. It was icy cold, but oh my God. Oh, my brain. Oh, my brain. I will also say I'm suffering from memory loss issues, all sorts of disability things. Hold on a second. Let me recalibrate just for a moment. Oh, my God, my brain. Oh, I hate life. Oh, but I love it so much, the joy, everything about it. Oh, my God, my brain. This is so rough sometimes. I'm doing this. Oh, I'm fighting through it. Let me go back a couple lines. On a Christmas day, we were mushing our way along the Dawson Trail. Speak of your cold through your parka's fold, it stabbed like a driven nail. And if our eyes we closed and our lashes froze, so sometimes we could not see, it wasn't much fun, but the only one to whimper was Sam McGee. And that very night, as we lay packed tight in our robes beneath the snow, the dogs were fed and the stars overhead were dancing heel and toe. And he turns to me and, "Oh, Cap," says he, "well, I'll cash in this trip, I guess. And if I do, well, I'm asking you, won't refuse my last request." Well, he seemed so low, I couldn't say no. And he says with a sort of moan, "Well, it's the cursed cold. It's got right hold. I'm chilled clean through the bone. Yet, tain't being dead, it's the awful dread of the icy grave that pains. So I'll ask that you'll swear, foul or fair, to cremate my last remains." A pal's last need is a thing to heed, so I swore I would not fail. And we started on the streak of dawn, but God, he looked so ghastly pale. He's crouched on the sleigh, and he's raved all day of his home back in Tennessee. And before nightfall, a corpse was all that was left of Sam McGee. There wasn't a breath in that land of death as I hurried horror-driven with a corpse half hid that I couldn't get rid because of a promise given. It was lashed to the sleigh, but it seemed to say, though you may tax your brawn and brains, but you promised true. Now it's up to you to cremate my last remains. A debt unpaid, or a promise made, is a debt unpaid, and the trail has its own stern code. In the days to come, though my lips were dumb, and my heart, how I cursed that load. In the long, long night by the lone firelight, while the huskies round in a ring howled out their woes to the homeless snows. Oh God, how I loathed the thing. And every day that quiet clay seemed heavy and heavier grow. And on I went, though the dogs were spent and the grub was getting low. The trail was bad and I felt half mad. But I swore I would not give in. And I'd often sing to that hateful thing. And it hearkened with a grin. Till I came to the marge of Lake Labarge, and a derelict there lay. It was jammed in the ice, but I saw in the trice. It was called the Alice May. And I looked at it, and I thought a bit. Then I looked at my frozen chum. Then here I said, with a sudden cry, is my crematorium. Some planks I tore from the cabin floor, and I lit that boiler fire. Some coal I found was lying around, and I heaped the fuel higher. The flames just roared, the furnace roared like a blaze you'd never see. And I burrowed a hole in that glowing coal, and I stuffed in Sam McGee. Oh, wait. Then I made a hike, for I did not like to hear him sizzle so. And the heavens scowled, and the huskies howled, and the wind began to blow. It was icy cold, but the hot sweat rolled down my cheek. And I don't know why, but in an inky cloak, that greasy smoke went streaking down the sky. I do not know how long in the snow I wrestled with grisly fear, till the stars came out and danced about. Ere again I ventured near. I was sick with dread, but I bravely said that I'd take just one peek inside. I guess he's cooked. And it's time I looked. Then the door I opened wide. And there sat Sam, looking calm and cool, in the heart of the furnace roar. And he wore a smile that you could just see a mile. And he said, well, please, well, close that door. It's fine in here, but I greatly fear you'll let in the cold and storm. Well, since I left Plumtree down in Tennessee, it's the first time I've been warm. There are strange things done in the midnight sun by the men that moil for gold. The Arctic trails have their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. The northern lights have seen queer sights, except for me, the queerest they ever did see. I'm so much queer. That night on the marge of Lake Labarge, I cremated Sam McGee. Oh, take that, traumatic brain injuries. I remember that shit still. Fuck y'all.
All right, give it up for Grace. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you again, LM Brimmer, for being our feature reader. Thank you to the Bosso Poets. Thank you to the bartenders. Thanks, Jason. Everybody get home safely. That's May 2025 Bosso Wrap. Thanks, everybody.
Do unto others as you would have them do. Don't you go find fault with one another, 'cause Christ